Okay then, everyone's seated, we're all good. Bean bags I'm jealous of. Let's get started. G'day, my name's Peter. Thanks for the introduction there. Just to repeat various points behind it. I run my own WebMax consultancy, L3 Linux. We're based in London, not in Australia. I haven't flown that far today. We work mostly with Google Linux, helping companies set up and make more sense of their WebMax data. Work with small companies, small startups, through to large multinationals across a range of sectors: e-commerce, retail, publishing, B2B, money transfer, a dating app once, some sort of brands there. In my spare time, I've also ended up running various analytics events. I chair the London eMetrics conference. I founded MeasureCamp, which is a analytics unconference. Now 250 plus people in London every 6 months. I think we've hit about 9 different cities around the world so far, which is pretty amazing for a slightly drunken idea originally. And Measure Bowling as well, which is a night the analytics community gets together, goes bowling. It's about 300 people across 25 cities all around Europe going bowling at the same time. But all this keeps me pretty busy. And I'm not a salesperson, I'm an analytics geek, and I'm okay with that, quite proud of it really. So let's get into this. Impacting business performance through the use of analytics. And obviously with that, it's a fairly loaded sort of question there in a way. My assumption, hypothesis, is that we don't use analytics enough to impact business performance. Just to try and verify it, and hopefully you'll put your hands up when I say put your hands up. I was doing a quick sort of survey, just to make sure this is all correct. So first question, simple one. Who works with a website or mobile app right now? Cool, and if you don't put your hand up, you're probably in the wrong place, to be honest. That's all about. Next question, who's got an analytics tool installed on their website or mobile app? Cool, that's a few less people, but you should have at least have a tool installed. If you've got a tool installed, do you open it at least once per week? We're getting less and less. So we're clearly seeing here analytics not being used that much. People who are using it, do use it for reporting purposes, looking at a performance report once a week, once a month. So reporting, we're down already to only a few people, unfortunately. Do you analyse your marketing campaigns, your product releases? Hands up, we've got a few. When I say analyse it, do you change them? Do you change your marketing campaigns? Do you change your product release? Would you cut a product release if it's not working? So we're down about a dozen people here. And this isn't like doing it one-off, you're doing it regularly. Has anyone changed their marketing strategy, their pricing strategy, their entire business direction based on the analytics they've found? 4, 5? Has everyone made their business, I don't know, 20%, 50% more revenue through the use of analytics? Any hands? We've got one sort of half hand too. Great, great for you. But as we're seeing here, that's the potential of analytics, what we should be achieving, and we're not there yet. Hypothesis proven, which is great. I can keep on talking. This talk is worthwhile. So, purpose of digital analytics is to provide the intelligence that informs business actions, leading to an improvement in performance for online organisations. And the key words there: intelligence, insights, information. It's not about reporting, statistics, or data. It's about the information you can get from the analytics tool that informs business actions. These are actions you're probably taking every day, every week, every month anyway. We're making them smarter through the use of more useful information. And if you take smarter decisions, result of that, you'll improve business performance. You'll improve the bottom line. I am Australian. We can get quite blunt about this sort of thing, so be very blunt here. The purpose of digital analytics is to help your companies achieve your business objectives, to help your companies make more money, which in another way makes it have a bit nicer, so you can get a bigger bonus or a bigger pay rise. That's why I think for all of you here, it should be interest in analytics. Why it should matter to you is so you yourselves can make more money through making your company more money. Is that okay? You got attention, hopefully, with all that? So, an example of this. A client I used to work with, looked at their conversion rates, mobile versus desktop. Mobile conversion rate was a lot lower. And I mean, mobile conversion rate is always lower. It's a simple fact. But for this one here, my rule of thumb, mobile conversion rate is about half that the desktop conversion rate. And there was about sort of 10, 20% a rate. It's so much lower. They thought it was a poor journey. It's a mobile website. It's hard to fill out forms. We looked a bit deeper. And we got into the Google Analytics flow visualization reports, segmented it based on mobile traffic only. And we sort of found, if you went through choosing delivery address, through the payment method, you pretty much always went through the confirmation page. Very small sample of data here, but you can see it pretty much always goes through. But if you went from a mobile summary page through the payment method, you went everywhere else, apart from the checkout process. You actually couldn't, based on this data here, based on this, complete the process using your mobile phone, going to their mobile website. Next step, pull my phone out, test this. Went to the website, chose a product, the cheapest product, of course, and tried to buy it. This happened. Error processing your payment, not being charged. I did everything I could to give this company my money using my mobile phone. They would not take it from me. I couldn't get through the process. I flagged this up to the company. They fixed the bug. Mobile conversion rate jumped up. Revenue jumped up. Analytics here in this one simple example made a big difference to their business performance. Through finding a bug they did not know existed for their mobile website. So what I want to do today, the plan here, is to go through and give you a set of tips and tricks to try and achieve those sort of big aims to really improve performance. I want to cover 3 areas. Analytics setup, you have to be capturing the right information. My approaches to analysis, to analysing this data, getting insights from it. And of course the company and the process behind it as well, because if the company's not behind you, you'll get nowhere at all. With the end result, all these tips and tricks, if you're using them, of making you all more money. So, first of all, setting up analytics. The first task you must do to get value from any analytics tool is to back away from your computer. Put the computer away, doesn't matter at all. Instead, think through, what are your business questions? What do you need to know? What information are you after? What actions are you taking every day, every week, every month? And what information do you need to inform those actions to make them smarter? Think through that first. Only when you've done that, you should then move to the next step of actually doing the work to set up the analytics tool. And now, over the years, I have done a lot of work around implementations, setting up these analytics tools. I've got sort of 3 key learnings from that. Mistakes I've made, things I've learned from, how to do it better. And the first one is don't aim for perfection. Don't try and measure everything. Don't try and capture everything, because quite frankly, it's impossible. I've produced, when I first started starting out, these really great detailed implementation plans, and I tried to measure everything. I aim for perfection because I am a bit of a perfectionist. And what happened? Well, nothing. Nothing happened. Analytics wasn't implemented. The devs put on their to-do list, but it was scheduled like for 3 months, 6 months. It might happen 2 years' time. It never actually happened. It was too much. And even then, so what we actually end up doing these days, we don't aim for platinum. We don't even aim for gold. We still aim for like a silver level implementation. And even just doing silver level, it's a lot of information. It takes a 2-hour workshop with my clients to go through what's included in a silver level implementation. And they're going, wow, that's so much information. So the other problem there, aim for perfection, you actually deliver too much information, too much data. People can't handle it, they can't use it. And if they're not using it, it's pointless, because it's not making a difference to the business bottom line. So with that, always think through what you need to track, not what you'd like to track. Next point, creativity is critical. It sounds a bit weird, creativity, analytics, tracking, how's that sort of work? But it's really important. I was going through the classic example to a client a couple of weeks ago, using Simo's example of tracking the weather. Person comes to your website, you grab their IP address, reverse look up that, to find out what city they're from right now, match the city to a weather API, and record the current weather at this point in time in your analytics tool. Actually, that's quite useful for us. They're a train company for train bookings, whether it can be useful to know if people are booking more trains or not. But what could be more useful, if we actually know what city they're from, are there any roadworks happening in that city right now? Because that can directly impact if people are going to use the car or buy a train ticket. Capturing roadworks in your analytics tool never occurred to me before. It's going to be great for this client because I thought creatively what information they need to understand visitor behaviour to inform the actions they're taking. Roadworks is actually really important for them. And the final point, with your tracking setup, aim it for the lowest common denominator. The book is about usability. Analytics should be very usable as well. You shouldn't have to think when you're using your analytics tools what things mean. It's like using IDs or codes. Don't use them, use the full words. Don't use AUS for Australia, call it Australia. Don't use M&F, it's male and female. I don't create solutions which I can use. I mean, I'm used to using IDs and codes, looking at numbers. That's my world. Most people in business, it's not. I want them to be able to use the analytics, not just me. So make sure the analytics stuff that you do put in place is as simple to understand and as possible. It should be very intuitive. You shouldn't ever look at a report and go, what's that line, what's that value there? It should be obvious what it stands for. It's gone beyond that. When I select the perfection, those sort of diagram there, what do I mean? What should you be capturing in this core information? What's critical for you? Well, where we sort of start off, page information. First thing, if we do nothing else for a client, page naming convention, getting that right, making it as easy as possible to actually understand what the pages are. By default, Google Links uses the URL. Not good enough. I want a more intuitive page naming convention. I'll give you an example of that in the next slide. Capture as well the page type, article page, the home page, a category page, a content page. It's great. Where do people enter the website? Are they entering the website on the home page, an article page, or a category page? Without grouping the pages, you just can't tell. Also the URL and referrer. I'll show you that later on. Campaign tracking. I want detailed tracking. Every link you control should be tracked with campaign parameters. That's your starting point. But useful campaign parameters. If you're doing an email, and someone clicks on a link for an email, of course I want to know it's from an email first of all, but what sort of email is it that's gone out? Is it an operational one or a promotional one? What campaign does it belong to? What's the name of this email? When was it sent? What was the link they clicked on? Capturing more information, putting some work into that to get this right, it'll help you make smart decisions down the track. Your macro conversion actions, not capturing everything here, but what are the actions on the website or the app directly tied to your business success? Capture those. Don't capture 20, 30, 50 things. Capture your critical 2, 3, 4, 5 bits of information that directly tied to success as part of the core tracking. And while logging in, I always look at visitor a bit of visitor information as well. Visitor type, prospects or customers, because they behave very differently. And the customer ID, so you can tie into your back-end systems as well. And all of this is a huge amount of information, which for most people would be almost too much for them to use. But developers can do this work. People can use this. You don't need more than the core tracking to really get big benefits from analytics. So start there. Don't try and capture everything. But going to that page naming convention, what do I actually mean by that? I have 3 rules for any page naming convention. First of all, in your analytics tool, you want 1 page name per page on the website, which sounds obvious, but it's not the case in most implementations. I've seen so many where even the home page, there's 10, 20, 50 different versions of the home page, but recorded separately. It makes it very hard to analyze data. You've got a hierarchy in place, the grouped pages in a logical manner. All the article pages are grouped together. All the article pages in the beauty section are grouped together. All the product pages in the menswear section are grouped together. And the third one, page names must be intuitive so they can be recognised by anyone. Again, lowest common denominator here. I'm not creating a solution where I recognise the page names, where someone else recognises the page names, but where anyone in the business, from the CEO down to a new intern, can look at a page report and go, well, that page there, that page name, must be that page on the website, because it makes sense, it's intuitive. What's this mean in practice? Well, here's an example, page naming convention for a retailer. Going through it very quickly. You got the homepage. And it's called homepage, not / or index.html. It's just called homepage. And everyone here, do you all recognise that page on the website? Yeah. Top level navigation, department pages, / department, / department name. All the other product list pages below that, well, they're called product list. And we say department name. Here's the department they belong with, and here's the product list name. Going to the product pages. It's a product page within this department, within that subcategory of that product list. And the product name is this. Anyone in the business can see this page name and go, it must be that page on the website. And it's all grouped together. You can see what are the best products in the menswear section. Error pages are identified. The checkout process, carts, the process pages, confirmation. Put a filter in place. Show me all the checkout pages. Well, here they all are, listed out for you. It makes life easy. Store finder, the My Account pages after you log in, account pages before you log in or add to account. Everything's very intuitively grouped together, makes it useful. This will take time to put in place. It will take dev resources. But the value that comes from this probably outweighs the benefits of anything else I ever do in analytics. Going beyond that, what's a more involved information look like for a company? So, an example here of an article page on a publisher website. They publish information about money and minerals, all that sort of stuff. So, first of all, capture the title, a content ID, and a category. And hopefully everyone's already done that sort of level of information. I go further. I want to know the author, the language, whether it contains an image, whether it contains a flag. And you'll start seeing later on in this talk how we're going to start using this information to make business decisions to improve performance. That's more information there. Getting better. How did you actually get into the article? Did you come from outside the website or within the website? And if you accessed it internally, did you navigate through the article list pages? Did you click on a widget on the home page? Did you click on the most recommended article section widget, another article page? How did you find it? What's useful on the website? Do we need to read it on our pages? I want to grab the publication date, of course, which is nice to know, but not that useful. Better still, how many days since that content was published when I'm now looking at it? That's good, but still, it's great for me, but not for everyone else. I want to know, when people are reading articles, are they looking at the articles which are published today? They're new, they're recent, they're old, or they're ancient. What content does best? I can start getting into by grouping this content together. Similar type thing. How many words on this page? 265. Creating this massive big report which tells me nothing. But I group this into short, medium, long, very long. I know straight away, are people looking at short content or very long content? And that's useful, it's actionable. I can use the information to make the business more money. Flipping a bit, what sort of interactions do I capture for content websites? Well, of course, by default, they viewed the article. There's issues, multiple tabs, visibility, ignoring those sort of points, which Simon may bring up later on. But view an article, better than that. Are they reading the article? I can't tell for sure, but if they spend at least 60 seconds on the page, I'm going to assume they've read the article. If they scroll to the bottom, I'm going to assume they've read the article. Are they engaging with it? Sharing it, printing it, adding a clipping? It's a feature in there as well. And you'll see again later on, I'm going to pull this information together to actually understand performance. Do they click through from this article to view another article? Which again is a great thing for me. Which articles drive you to read more articles? Because I make money, more money, the more articles you read. So this can tell me which articles work the best for that. Or, subscription website, which articles prompt say, that article was so good, I want to sign up this website to read more content in the future. I want to pay money to read more content like that. In which case, I want more of that sort of content. So, a lot of information captured there. What are we going to do with it? Well, let's move into the analysis and insight section. First of all, back to the retailers. The classic example for a retailer, people come to the website, look for a product, find a product, create a basket, commence checkout, place an order. And we got numbers with this, which is great. It's great to have numbers, 120,000, 75,000, 200,000. They're just numbers. Give them some context, add in. But some people go between each sort of stage, which is nice as well. But if you want to improve conversion rate, where do you start working at? What's good and what's bad there? It's kind of hard to tell. So when doing analysis, provide some more context. Put a target against each stage. And what I can then do by looking at this and say, you know what? Here's the problem. People are creating baskets, not pressing the button to commence the checkout process. That's where they're dropping out the most against what people do normally. What I'm going to focus my attention, my A/B testing, my further analysis, I'm not going about the homepage. I'm not going about the checkout process. Product pages are fine. All this could be improved. But where I can make the most money of my company is getting that 22.7% up to as close as possible to that 60%. That's where the biggest gap is. That's where the most potential is to make more money. That's what I focus on. Not what I think is most important, but what the data says is definitely most important to make the most money. And this is where I sort of start off doing analysis, this sort of thing here, one by one. But after all, I want something bigger than this. I want to look at more things in one go. And we've developed the Business Performance Diagnostic Report. Now, before I show it, I have to apologise. It's a big, massive spreadsheet. It's a true data puke, which is bad. But you don't look at it every day, every week, every month. Look probably every 3 months. And it's kind of like this. Now, you see here, every row, different metric. Your traffic metrics, engagement metrics, key conversion stages, a funnel, sales information, your macro conversion actions, your micro conversion actions. A lot of different metrics. Across the top, though, your segments. You've got all traffic. You've got new versus returning, desktop, tablet, mobile, domestic, international, your customers versus your prospects, your different browsers, your different entry points, different traffic sources. By looking at this, you've got all the information you need at your fingertips to start finding out where are issues wrong on your website. I want to look at this. I'm going to create some internal benchmarks. And if I can say that with Chrome, we can complete the product basket rate at this point here, but in Firefox it's down here, I've got a problem in Firefox. That's where here's where I can make more money. It basically identifies all the underperforming areas. And even better than that, if you actually can work out from this, based on internal benchmarks, what the uplift should be, you can work out the value to business of fixing any individual point in this entire mapping. And once you've got the value of making a fix, prioritise your work. Do cost-benefit analysis. How much to fix this issue? How much money we'll make? And prioritise everything for you. This tool we're using more and more over the last few years, become more and more useful, more powerful. It does define everything when analysing performance. All right, switching back a bit then, some little things. Key thing to monitor on the website, negative experiences, bad things. When people view 404 error pages, form validation errors, returning 0 results from an internal search. These are all bad things. Should be monitoring all of them. If the percentage of sessions ever gets above a certain percent, take actions. If a portion of people who are seeing 404 errors on your website is at 5, 6, 10%, forget this massive marketing campaign you're doing. Drop all that. Fix this problem. So, how do we go about analysing each of these? How do we fix them? First of all, form errors. I capture 3 things: form name, field name, error message. Then we have reports like this saying, cool, for these forms here, here's how many errors on each form. Checkout form. People are getting form validation errors on checkout forms, a bad thing. What's causing that? Click through. Here's the field names causing the error messages. The worst one's telephone number. Why are people having troubles filling in a telephone number on a checkout form? That's weird. Let's see the error message. Telephone number must be entered with no spaces, dashes, or separators. Why? Mr. Developer, can you please fix this problem? Don't do that to me. If a telephone number contains a space, it's fine. Ignore the space, put it through fine. Don't not take someone's money because the telephone number contains a space. Fix this problem so we can make more money. Next, 404 error pages. I said before, I want the full URL of any page, and I want to know the referrer to any page. And all error pages are called /error page /404 error. So what can I do then? I can look at all the pages that are called an error page and see a list of the URLs and a list of the referrers. I can click from one to the other. I can basically pinpoint what's causing these error pages. Bugs that you didn't know about. Possibly little ones, possibly big ones. That's how I analyse that. Search terms, 0 search results. Duplicative information. I want the search term for each search, the number of search results that are returned. From that, get a report of all search terms with 0 search results, and then change it. Change your website. People actually can find what they're looking for. Had the example a couple of years ago from an e-commerce director at a company called Love Honey. They're actually a online sex toys retailer. And they found at one point everyone was searching and getting 0 results for this term, 50 Shades of Grey. Had no idea what's 50 Shades of Grey. The book had just come out. They did some research, read the book, of course, went, that could be interesting. Created a landing page for it. Snapped up worldwide exclusive merchandising rights to the 50 Shades of Grey merchandise, making a lot of money from it now. Where'd they find this? In their analytics data. That's analysis, and it's all good. But a couple of years ago, working with a client, and saying, this is all great. I mean, you're creating all this great insights, this great tracking in place, and it's great that you're doing all this for us, but you're only one person, and we're a big, big, big company. We need everyone using analytics, get away from analytics. But they're not analysts. So how can they, if they're not analysts, analyse the data? And the client said, what I actually want, I want a report, the perfect report, where the non-analyst can see this and do that. And it's like playing any sort of sporting game if you train enough for it. You sort of know, if your teammate gets the ball across there and goes that way, you do this. It's just instinctive. That's what you train for. Like when someone does that, you just do that sort of action there. It's the perfect reports, the same sort of thing. And then an analyst gets a report, can't understand the numbers, don't need to. They can see, here's the numbers here, here's what it says, therefore I take this action automatically. Because I know if I take that action, I'll make more money. Examples of that, retailers' merchandise report. As you're showing again, list of products here, what's being viewed the most. This one here, add to cart divided by visits to that product page. The product page success rate. And what we're seeing here, A and B, they're great. They sell the most units, make the most money. We know this already. And always every other company will promote the much as they can of these products. But number C here, something's wrong with this product here. 6.3% and uses about 20% or so. People are just seeing this product a lot. They're not adding it to cart for some reason. It could be stock availability. It could be the product copy. It could be the photo you've taken of that product. It could be the price point. It could be the bad reviews on that page. But something's wrong. And the merchandising team, it's their job to fix these sort of product pages every day. But we can tell them, looking at this, here's the products to focus on. Go to that product, fix that product, help the company make more money. And as well, if we can get that from 6% to 20%, which is normal, that £1,000 there will get to £3,000. And we know that based on the data. Similar issue, product D here. For some reason, it's usually 50%, 6%. They're down at 20%. Why? I don't know. Look into it. That's your job. It could be shipping costs, or it takes too long to be delivered. But if you can fix this, again, you'll go from making £1,400 from it to making 2 times, 3 times that, based on the analytics data. Reverse of all this, product down here. Massive success rate, 47%. Not being viewed so much though. But this is a product which we know, if we could get more people viewing this product, the company will make a lot more money out of it, based on the analytics. So that product there, put it on social media, put it on newsletter, put it on your homepage, put it everywhere you can. Because you know, people go and see it, they'll add to cart, and they'll buy it. It's in the great sweet spot right now, and we can prove it makes people money. Same applies for content reports. Similar type thing here, articles. And I know this sort of thing before, read rate, share rate, comment rate. These are the tracking we put in place earlier. Article 2 up here, it's getting a lot of views, but people aren't reading it, sharing it, commenting it. Very low rates there. It's not that engaging actually. Possibly great clickbait, but it's not going to lead to future long-term success. Actually though, article 1 down here, 82% of people read it. It's being shared, comment on massive numbers. We know it works. And over here, this entry rate, 8%. That's a proportion of people who view the article having entered from the outside on it. It's a landing page for them. It's very low. So we know people are finding it inside the website, not outside the website. So that's the article, again, social media, newsletters, everywhere you can, because you know, based on the analytics, without being an analyst, this article works. This will bring you in more traffic in the future. It's how you make more money. And note as well, down the bottom of these sort of tabs here, we're also grabbing more information about articles, the content, the categories, the authors, the recency, the length. Can group it all as well, so you can see which authors perform the best. Short articles versus long articles. Are people reading the old articles or the new ones? What category works best for you? The information's all there to be analysed. And it can be done as well, not by the analyst, by the non-analyst, everyone else in the business. So, final section, company process tips. The ambition here, of course, is analytics perfection, that mythical nirvana place. Have you seen before the digital analytics maturity model? Yes, people have, most people haven't. If you haven't, highly recommend looking that up. Stefan Hamill has this. It's great to understand if your company's doing well with analytics. And we want to be fast, we want to be great everywhere around the board here. But in my opinion, and so this probably comes through a bit already, this can't be achieved when the access, the control of that intelligence, those insights, that information, is controlled by the few people who understand it. If it's only got the analysts who can use analytics data, you're in a bad, bad place. It has to go through the entire company. So how do you do this? First of all, educate people on the basics and then build from there. Some basic things. Don't use the term hits, how it is track success. It's the wrong term to use unless you know what you're talking about. The media loves it, politicians love it. We're digital people, we're smarter than that, we don't use the word hits. Unique visitors is users. It's actually unique browsers. If your business is reporting, we had 50,000 users last month, they had a great job. Well, actually, home computers, work computers, tablets, smartphones, it wasn't 50,000, something between 10,000 and 40,000. I don't know the answer, but I know inflated number. You need to understand that, and that's part of the basics. Campaign tracking is easy to do. Everyone should be doing it. Attribution is very, very hard to do, and personally, I think it's impossible to do. So when I get companies to me saying, hey, can we do attribution? You're not tracking your campaigns. No, you can't. Do the basics first. Get that right, and we'll get to the point of talking about campaign optimization, not attribution. And the fact that you can track anything, such as the weather or roadworks. Let's get through these basic points first. And then get the organisation used to actually seeing analytics data. And I said before, analytics isn't about reporting, it's about the insights. But we're starting off here. We have to be used to seeing numbers, metrics, data points, asking the right questions. And so reporting, for me, actually is critical to analytics. But what we've seen in the past, and so many companies have this, and you might say to yourself, who has a Monday morning email go out, containing 10, 20, 30 Excel files in it, send it to everyone in the whole business, gets the same email, everyone gets it and presses delete 5 minutes later. That sound familiar at all? A few people? Yeah, that's bad. Instead, this sort of approach can work for you. Still create a fair few different dashboards, and dashboards, not data puke reports, useful dashboards, as few numbers as possible. But when you got that, the executive board, they get one dashboard, not 31. The information relevant to them. The head of marketing may see a performance summary, and they get their marketing dashboard, the one that's useful information for that person. Not e-commerce, not content, not the detail, the information they need to know, and that's it. The execs down here, the people in the work, they're a social media person, they get maybe an overview of marketing, but they get their social media report. Information relevant to them. So everyone gets 2, 3 dashboards, not reports, not 30 reports, but information they can use to make smart decisions to improve business performance. And hopefully people then, being educated, start looking at the basic numbers, get used to that. They start making requests. They start asking questions. This was interesting, this dashboard. What's this mean? How do I get more of that? How do I make more money? Help me make more money for the business. And that becomes hard because you're one analyst or 2 analysts. There's a lack of resources. How do you actually keep everyone happy? And Tim Wilson, what makes Demystified, had a great presentation. Again, recommend looking it up. And suggestion for this. And he says, anyone can request anything. A new report, new tracking, new analysis, request anything at all. Must first give you 2 bits of information themselves. First, hypothesis. what they expect to see in the data, what will the results be. It shows they've thought about it. They know what they're talking about. And the second one, the critical one, the action they will take based on the data. If someone can't tell you, give me this report, this thing's up for me, and here's the actions I'll take. I'll do A or B based on the report. Don't care. If it's nice to know, I'm not doing it. If you ask any analyst in the world, if you say to any analyst in your company, any company, hey, can you spend 2 days doing this work for me? But that work is going to make me change my mind on this marketing campaign. They will do it because it's useful. It validates what we're doing. The people who are asking for reports because it's nice to know drives us crazy. And ultimately, from all of that, it needs to go viral through the company, spread the ideas and the usage of analytics throughout the entire company. And this takes time. The Guardian in the UK built their own analytics tool 3.5 years ago. It's now being used by 1,000 people in the company. But it's taken 3.5 years to get to that point, and it's still not everyone. Tesco finally realised they need to invest in analytics. And they had 2 people 2 years ago. They're now 20 to 40 people. It's getting more of the time. It takes years to change all this. But basically what you should be at is for every new campaign you launch, for every new website feature, before you actually launch it, you define success, you define your KPIs, you set targets. Tracking is in place properly before it goes live. And then, once it's live, you actually evaluate performance against the KPIs and against the targets you already set. Sometimes you see success, sometimes you actually fail, and that's okay. As long as from all of this, the business is learning constantly and improving, taking actions to improve performance. That's the critical part. I don't care if you do a good job or a bad job. Did you learn from it? Will you do better next time? So, bringing this all together, my vision, my dream for the future with all this. First of all, statement, again, for me, analytics is not having the impact it could be on organisations. Clearly proven by the fact there's not enough around, people aren't investing enough in this. This has to change. It's just so obvious, the fact there's so much potential here if people should invest in it properly. Organisations need to see analytics as a normal cost of doing business. They used to spend money on lawyers, on accountants, on HR, marketeers, especially everything else. Analytics is a new line in their budgets. It has to be added. They have to invest in the tools and the people because the money they can make from themselves. It then should become a recognised career path. Education at university and courses to reflect that. So people actually get the opportunity to actually learn these techniques properly for tracking our data. It's not quick. I once had a training guy come and say, hey, how long actually take to take someone from a user's GA to intermediate level? Not expert, intermediate level. Is it what, 6 hours? 8 hours work? Seriously. 8 weeks, 10 weeks, full time, just to get them started. A lot of investment in time to get people at that sort of point. Success does take a long time to do. It is already relevant to some companies, like saying Tesco, Financial Times in the UK are doing amazingly well with analytics. Big team of people, big investment, because they had someone at the start willing to lead it. Gaming companies in Germany are probably investing a lot in the analytics and do things really smart there, but it takes time. So it's already there for some companies, and hopefully, if you put the work in, you invest in the company, in the tools, in the people, go through the process, hopefully your company then can be next. Thank you. By the way, if anyone fancies moving to London, we are recruiting for analytics people. Yeah.
So, thank you, Peter. Do we have some questions in the audience?
30 seconds.
Everybody up. The box is back. So, do we have some questions? So, Peter? Twitter is saying nothing.
We have one.
Ah, we have one.
Hello, thank you for presentation. There were in your presentation one place where were entry rate. What does it mean?
What, sorry?
For entry rate.
Entry rate, sorry.
Yeah.
For me, it's the proportion of sessions that view a page that entered on that page. So a high entry rate, say, if there's 100 people viewed an article and 80 people entered that article as the landing page for that session, your entry rate's 80%. As people have found the article from outside the website. If the entry rate of the 100 people who viewed the article only 5 people actually entered on that article. It's the landing page for 5 people only. Entry rate's 5%. People went from the home page or the article list pages, they navigate to it internally. I just want to see if people are getting to pages internally or externally.
Thank you.
Thanks. You should try. Oh, so do we have some more questions? Oh, not far.
Yeah. Hi, Peter. Could actually upload somewhere some more of those boring graphics you had there, like. Yeah, those big ones with those numbers. You can. You should upload them somewhere. Like.
I have already. I think I've got free download dashboard templates from years ago on my website. The performance diagnostic one is there somewhere. I'm sure there's links again. I'll put this on the slide share. I'll have a blog post. There'll be links there as well to these ones. Everything I do there can be downloaded as examples, samples to work off.
So, it's all?
Cool.
Do you analyze everything manually, or use some automation techniques or something like that to search for patterns somewhere else?
Right now for me, it's all manual. I prefer small data to big data. I use the tools as techniques, like the big data matrix thing, to try and make it a faster process. You can look for patterns that way. I find, to me, a web analyst, so a normal analyst crunches numbers. A web analyst looks at numbers, take into account the marketing, website usability, commercial sense, everything else. That can't be done automatically. Some part you can crunch numbers, yes, but the actual aspects, really understand behavior here. For me, looking at numbers, when doing analysis, I usually have open that sort of spreadsheet, Google links as well, and the website. And I'm looking back and forth and thinking through, numbers show here, step deeper. On the website, if I click on that, I go to there. Well, that will look like this in the data. And that's the part you can't do automatically. So for me, it's quite manual. There's probably some things you could do automatically. I haven't done that yet myself.
Thanks.
The question is about people who not prefer to be tracked by you and other analytics. Do you have any statistics of dynamics, and will it be the problem in the future?
All right. I don't have any statistics. I mean, right now, for most analytics tools, if you block JavaScript, block cookies, you're not tracked at all. I think it's about 2-3% on average who would do this. It breaks most websites. They wouldn't block JavaScript. It could be happening. If you lose 2-3% of your traffic, I don't care, to be honest. I've got enough data to actually make these decisions. I don't care about accurate data. I care about useful data. With the rise of the ad blockers in the iOS, it could get a bigger number, particularly ones who exclude analytics as well. I don't think it's going to become a problem.
Yeah,
Nothing to back up. I think we're okay.
But more browsers, more OS include it in new version.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we have to have our community, analytics community, talk to the people creating these sort of tools. And I can understand why you want to block the third-party ads. They are really annoying, usually. Analytics shouldn't be like that. We're not using first-party cookies, not third-party cookies. Nothing here identifies who you are, apart from visitor ID. But we're not trying to do anything bad at all. It's almost an education piece with people creating the blocking tools than anything else. So we'll see what happens in the future. I've got no idea. I think we're going to be okay, though.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, thanks. That's all? No more questions? Oh, for our one.
Hi. Hi. Yeah, just a quick comment about the tracking thing. The new version of Firefox, which is coming out, I think it's already actually updated. The privacy mode in that blocks GA by default. So if you go incognito with Firefox on the new version, you're actually blocking tracking. So it will only get worse. On my blog, I have 22% of all visitors are blocking GA. Of course, I have to think that they're more enlightened than others, but it's not a problem if you're kind of measuring trends, which you should with analytics. But if you want to use analytics to measure revenue, for example, it does become a problem because you're actually missing entire transactions.
But things like that, I mean, measuring revenue, you shouldn't be doing analytics. As in, like, getting you don't report the tax office your revenue numbers from the Google Analytics tool.
Let's be realistic. You should, and what people are doing are completely different things.
Yeah. So it depends how accurate it needs to be. For me, 95% accurate. It's a pretty big sample size, enough to make the decisions. It's useful data without being accurate. If the sample size, it's like the whole not provided thing. At first when it was 10%, didn't care. When it 40, 50, 100%, it became a big problem. I said, again, for me, it should be an education piece. Talking to Firefox and saying, why are you blocking out the analytics as part of this? We're not a threat, not a problem. I'd love to see the DAA, Digital Analytics Association, lead that sort of discussion.
But that's just it. I mean, yeah, we're not a threat, you and me, but there are many people who are actually a threat when they use data in the wrong way to target, for example, unwarranted audiences or opt-outed audiences. I mean, there are people coming up with hacks how to track people who don't want to be tracked, which I think is quite funny, and that doesn't exactly help the discussion with these providers who are providing tools like ad blocker and stuff like that. So it's definitely an education piece, but it's also going to be the future. So I think one of the things we have to start thinking about is how to find a suitable compromise between tracking people who don't want to be tracked so that they are not offended by it, so that they're aggregated on an anonymous level, enough anonymity that doesn't actually offend their ethics or whatever.
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
So it's up to us to actually do the right thing and to show we're actually doing the right thing. There's always the bad people who are trying to do more and more to make more money out of one, to take the easy sort of wins. The digital fingerprinting in a way, possibly the old flash cookies that actually respawned. Yeah. It's hard. I don't have a great answer basically at this point.
Yeah, true.
Cool.
Okay, thanks.
Aussie rules.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to Peter.